things on Adobe Fresco on my iPad. And the reason I'm doing this is I think a lot of people don't realize if they just add a stylus to their iPad and they download the program, you have to pay a subscription price, but I think it's fairly reasonable for Adobe Fresco. They have a lot of really cool things that you can do on there. And last night I showed some brushes, and tonight I just want to show something I'm super excited about, which is a symmetry button that they've added to this program. So you can do, I'm going to just show you here on the side. Let's see, can I zoom in? I can, but I have to move my, well, let me do it differently. Let me do it this way. I'm just going to show you that here on the side, there's a button that is got a little grid on it, and that's what that's what you click on this program. And there's a button down here, a symmetry button that we can turn on, and then all these amazing options come up. So I'm going to just show you to start with, let's just do something simple like a 6-petaled flower. And it basically, by default, it puts everything in the center. If that ever moves on you, I can show you how to get it back. But one of the things that we can do is we can press this button. Now I can move those guides on purpose. Like if I wanted the flower to be a little off center, I could do that. But we'll just move it back. Oops. And it's right there on the center now because it went highlighted blue, and I'll unclick the move guides. So I'm going to close this now. I'm going to just show you how cool it is to have a symmetry button and maybe review a couple things we did last night. So first thing we want to do is do the center of the flower. And so we've got a circle right there. And then let's do a petal out each direction. I kind of went big on that. It went all the way on the edge. I'm going to redo it, I love the back button right up here. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. There, perfect. And then I think we'll add another layer that will be flowers. And I want that to actually touch. And then just as a reminder, oh, that's interesting. It only did it on one side. It did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it did it 6 times, but I've got to do it here too in order to, oh, that was funny, to get my other leaves. So I'm going to just remind you that last night I used a bucket to fill in colors. And so let's make this a nice yellow center. Oh, whoops, it went black. Try it again. Move it over to yellow. There we go. We'll make a yellow center, and just like last night, just because it might remind you of the lesson last night, we did orange petals, and I'm just using the bucket over here to do all that. Orange petals, and then we'll put some green. This is a super simple, easy way to do a flower. So then I'm going to show you something more complicated. I thought it would be fun to do, when I realized what I could do with this when I was playing around with the symmetry, I thought it would be fun to do a playing card. And I want to show you how you would do a playing card, the face of a playing card, like a jack, queen, or king. So I'm just going to erase this for the moment. And then I'm going to change my symmetry. Okay, wow. I have never had this many people following me on a live before. Thank you so much, everybody, for chiming in. And I really could use some subscriptions. I'm trying to hit 1,000. So if you like this, I'm going to keep doing these lives. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to take a quick moment here to look at some comments. I don't know that I have a lot of comments yet, just a lot of people stopping by. Hi, AB, Ab, Killy, Someone already loved my drawings. Thank you so much. So I'm going to just keep going with the lesson here, and I'll come back and check comments in a little while. What I want to show you that symmetry button again. We're going to change to a different kind of symmetry. And if you think about a playing card, I don't have a playing card. I wish I did, because if I had one, I would show you that they're not like perfectly symmetrical top to bottom exactly. It's like they're on a slant. And so I had to play around with this, and I figured out if I use this one under rotational symmetry, and then I allow myself to move the guide, I can create a 40, well, it's not actually 45, it's a 30, 38 or 30, whatever that read. It's shut off. And I don't, oh, it's not actually quite to the corner, is it? So I really want it to be right to the corner. It's really weird. Like I wish I was better at math. My daughter's way better at math than I am in her head, mental math. It's saying 36.5, and I'm looking, this is a double-sized playing card, so I made it twice as big as a playing card, so it's 5 by 7. And I mean, there's some math there that I don't totally understand. But what I wanted was a diagonal line from corner to corner. I got that. And I'm going to turn the move guides off and shut the grid. Now I'm ready to go. That guideline is locked in place. So let me show you the idea. I'm going to show you the idea of what I'm going to draw, because I kind of sketched it out first. And this is super rough. And I taught some kids a while back, and I was always compelled to be really honest with them about how hard it is to actually make something look like a finished drawing. And when I would practice for the classes in order to give a demo, I would draw something 50 times and I brought all of my 50 sketches, and they finally got better and better. But this time I'm just going to show you one sketch. It's super rough. Just want you to know. So we're going to do a card, Queen of Hearts, and I'm going to, this is my guideline of what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make it sort of a witch, because we've got Halloween coming up. So that's what I'm going to try and do, and let's just see how it goes. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to grab the same pen in a black, and I'm just going to start with drawing the Queen's face. And we have to put a witch hat on her. It's a little off, but that's okay. And there's a nice pointy top to her hat. So you can see it's doing the same thing down here as it's doing up here, which is the whole cool tool over here. And then I'll just zoom in on what I'm doing on her face to begin with. No, that's what I wanted. There we go. A queen's collar. And then let's see, what was I going to do next here? the broom. She's sitting on a broom that's going to come from down here, but let's get her arm in here. So she's got, I'll have to use the eraser on that a little bit because I've got my shapes are overlapping. Let's finish off this collar. And I'll just go ahead and use the eraser. Whoa! Love it when I do stuff like that. Back button is magic. Magic. Go back to my pen and kind of clean all this up. I'm going to come back and do some details in a minute. So where was I at? Okay, so I want her arm to come straight down and put the Queen of Hearts symbol. So here's her arm, her upper arm. Here's her lower arm. Here's her not very symmetrical, but I kind of like it. You got to go with these things that happen. Let's put some petals on that. What else did I have going on? So she is sitting on a broom, and her, oh, this is a little bit long, isn't it? Interesting. What happened here? There's her other arm. There's her, it's her shoulder right there. Her upper arm, her lower arm, and then let's have her hand on the broom. Got to have enough room for this broom. Okay, we've got a broom going on there. Yay. And then let's add some heart symbols just to keep it accurately a playing card, Queen of Hearts. Let's go backwards. This is, in a way, this is still a rough draft because like I said, I'd only sketched it once. And I really like this idea, and I might do this card again as a more fine art painting, and it wouldn't have quite as fat of lines, but it's okay. I kind of like it. I like it that I'm working rough because anybody who's watching me may be learning, and this is how you get to where you want to go, is you just have to try stuff. I really appreciate all the people that keep hanging out here. So we're showing a Adobe Fresco program using an iPad with an iPencil, which is a stylus. And the big thing I'm doing tonight that I'm super excited about is this symmetry button. And I'm going to just check the comments before I go into the next steps. Thank you. Nice compliments. I'm not sure. Oh, I dropped my iPad. I am planning on getting a new one. Yes, you can see the little cracks. Sorry about that. I'm new to going online and this is all a hobby. Well, not really. I mean, I won't go into it, but I don't have a really good reason other than this live to buy a new iPad. And if I get enough people following me, I'm gonna definitely get a new iPad with no cracks on the screen. Oh, I'm sorry that it's really annoying. Oh, Russian Dogger, you're back. I remember you. Duke, I'm really sorry the cracks on the screen are annoying you. Once I get monetized, I'm going to buy a new screen. So subscribe, please. I need subscribers in order to get monetized. Oh, yeah, Picasso style. That would be super cool. In fact, I could play around with that idea for sure. I love Picasso. I love Picasso's paintings. Like Picasso, the guy was a bit of a womanizer. Okay. Yes, I remember you, Russian Dogger. Dogver. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about the... Maybe I could move this a little bit so you're not looking... Move it over here so the cracks are a little bit less. Alrighty. We can't forget that this is... We've still got the pen. The Queen of Hearts. Okay, I've got the broom, I have the heart, I've got the border. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a few more lines so that we can do some interesting colors. And then it seems like we should have some stars in the background since this is a witch on a broom who will be flying at night on Halloween. Okay, so that is actually a pretty good representation of what you can do with a symmetry button. And so that's all I'm going to do tonight on the symmetry thing. There's a lot more you can do with it, but I'm going to paint it in, and it'll be a sort of a refresher on the brushes that I like to use. I didn't give her any hair. I better give her some hair. Okay. So I am going to go to the watercolor, the wet brushes over here, and I will choose we'll go with a red to begin with for the hearts and definitely get that part done. And let's look, I'm not sure if I've actually got watercolor. Let me look here. Whoops, clicking on that little dot right there, that little triangle. I definitely have watercolor and I've got the soft wash. Okay. That's all I needed. So let's go in here. And then I'm also going to tell it to stay inside the lines. I don't know. Let's see if it'll work. It's staying inside of its own lines. So let's unclick that and we'll just work with a small brush. And as a reminder, notice it started a new layer. This is this layer, oops, over here. I can't really, I'll bring it up to the screen. This layer here is the vector layer. This is where I just started painting. That's the watercolor layer. So they operate a little bit differently. And so the program automatically separates the layers. Thank you for the thumbs up. And thank you for all the compliments. And thank you for those who are hanging with. I'm going to keep painting until I have this all filled in. I would love some more subscriptions. Being able to come to you and do a live is really exciting for me to be able to do this and share what I do. But it helps if channels like me that do these lives, nobody pays us to do this. YouTube does not pay me to do that because I'm not monetized because I don't have enough followers and I don't have enough watch hours yet. Eventually, I can get monetized and I'll get a little bit of money, I guess, from what I'm learning about YouTube is you can get a little bit of money from the advertising that they do. You don't really have much control over any of it. But the only way to get there is to have people subscribe. So anything there I'd appreciate. I'll probably still do it for free anyway because I just love doing it. And I'm starting to connect with more and more people, which makes it super exciting. It's just about the human experience sometimes. You gotta just go with that sometimes. So there we got some nice reds. Let's put in a nice green leaf. I know I can do, whoopsie. Go back over to the green, make sure you can see what I'm doing. So it doesn't matter which side of the line you draw on, it just automatically takes it up to the opposite symmetrical, and it matches everything, no matter paint, whether you use paint or line or whatever. Oops, I forgot the, let's see, we'll just go back to that red and we'll paint in this heart. I like that it still has a watercolor feel to it when you look at it. I think this Queen of Hearts, I think I need to go back here to this layer and make that, let's see, I used a vector brush and I used a black, and I think that's about the same size. So I'm going to go in here with a very small eraser and fix a couple things. So I want the paint to flow into these areas. It's kind of wobbly. Let me go back over this with the black line. Clean it up. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure what color I'm going to do that yet. I know I want a night sky. So we might have some crazy things happen when I start filling in this background. Because I think what I'm going to do is fill it in with a bucket. And I'm going to choose a blue. And, oh man, watch the whole thing turn blue. No, it did not. Hooray. Okay, so far so good. I'm realizing that right there, it's not really clear where her body shouldn't go quite like that. I'm going to go back here to this black. I'm on the vector layer, so I'm good there. I'm going to go back here and change this line. Before I paint in the background. I sort of feel like vector, black. There, that feels better. I don't know what's different about what I did there, but, and then I'll paint in that blue color right back there. Yay! So now I kind of want that blue to look a little bit more watercolory, so I'm going to go back up to this watercolor layer, and I'm going to go with a little bit darker blue, and I'm going to see what happens if I just start. No, I need it to be bigger than that. Sometimes I would totally have this blue on a background layer. It's right now all on the same layer. Oh, I forgot to fill that in. Well, I'll come back and get that with the other one, the other brush. But tonight I'm not going to that level of layer detail. So we're just working all on the same layer or a couple layers here, which is fine, you know, I mean, it's a different kind of a look. This is like how it would be on real paper. You're like, oh, wait, I put that blue down. Oh, wait, I wanted that blue to look different. And you just go right back on top of the blue. You wouldn't be able to shut layers on and off on real paper. So I'm always okay with it when I get myself kind of backed into a corner on the layering stuff. It's like, well, on real paper, you wouldn't have that option. You wouldn't have a back button. So I'm kind of liking how that looks. Oh, what happened there? Interesting. I didn't notice that. So make that eraser smaller. And go back to that layer. I need to go back and fill in that blue. Oh, look at here. That's really interesting. I love that. Look at what happened to that heart. The blue showed through the paint that I did in watercolor. So that's kind of cool. Now this is interesting. Something didn't happen over here. Wow, look at that. That's different. This did not fill in with the blue. So let's do that now. That's interesting. I don't know why it didn't fill in. Right there. And right there and right there. There we go. And right there. I wonder if there's anything else that didn't match symmetrically. So that was supposed to, when I did it up here, it should have done it down there, but it didn't. But it seems to be doing everything else. So that's kind of a mystery to me. What happened there? All right, so what color should we do her? You know, a witch is normally in black, but what's going to happen, and I'll show you, I mean, I actually think that I might know what I should do here is I'm going to not go with a black black. I'm going to go with a, I'm going to go with a kind of a blue-gray. Should I? No, let's go to a, she's the Queen of Hearts. Let's go to a dark, dark red. But I think I'm going to lose some contrast that I need, but let's just do the experiment. Okay, it's not doing the symmetry thing on the painting. What's with the bucket fill? So that's okay. It seems to do it on other brushes. So there's something I don't know, and when I know, I'll share it with you, but I'm not going to be able to answer it right now. So let's make her arms. And her hat. What I was worried about is she's getting too dark. So what would happen if I chose a white, and I'm going to keep the bucket, and I'm going to say, I want to fill in that line white. Will it do it? No. Uh-oh, it's going to fill, oh, yeah, it filled all of her lines white. Okay, back. Yeah, that is not what I want. Okay, I'm thinking she needs some gold in here. Let's do some gold. There's a nice gold. And we'll stick with the bucket on that. A light gold. Whoops. Nope, I don't want it to do that. Oh, that's kind of cool, though. That's not what I wanted, though. And then we'll go with a darker gold on the underside. Go back to that lighter gold. See my palette down here? Okay, so I'm going to check comments. Thanks, Regina. Not the other Q. I'm not sure what that means. Gray. Oh, yeah. Yeah, gray was on my mind. I was thinking about that. Thank you for subscribing, Xavier. Yeah, the papers. I want to try the paper screen protector. When I was thinking about when I invest in my new iPad to get rid of these cracks that I guess you can see them. Like I can see them on my iPad, but I can't see them on my phone image that I'm broadcasting. So, so I'm sorry about that. If you're seeing those, if they're distracting, I'm going to have to replace this iPad for sure because I don't want people to be distracted by that. So now I'm going to go back here and we'll work on this little detail. Looks like I'm needing to put in a little bit of red that I missed. Let's go back to the wet brush and go back to the red color that I had before. And we'll just fill in right there. And it did it there. It carried it down to this, to the mirror image. go back to I think we'll go to the light gold and go back to the bucket. Whoa. Nope. It's for some reason, I'm on the wrong layer. That's the problem. There we go. That's what happens when you go on the wrong layer. Thank goodness for the back button, as I said before. And then her broom will have some gold in it. No, I don't want to fill. It's going to do it again. It's trying to tell me that she needs to be gold. That's interesting. Not doing it. But it's a kind of a good idea. And I may do a more refined version of this and we'll do the gold. I think the Queen of Hearts could be gold here. Whoopsie. And I also forgot to fill in the blue. Let's find that light blue. There we go. Okay. All right, so next up is the hair color. Now I think we'll go with a gray on the hair color. No. Back. It's going to fill the whole thing again. It's really hard sometimes when you've got a really small space you're trying to fill. There we go. And just for kicks, let's make some different shades. There we go. Might be fun to put a pattern on her sleeves. And if I go to the wet brush and I go to a pink, let's go to a pink. And I don't want the brush to be very wide at all. It did it on both. Hooray. Thanks for the folks who have stuck around. Thanks for watching. And then I think that we'll make this a tiny bit bigger, and I think she needs some polka dots on her dress. Why not? It's carrying to the other side, which is great. Whoopsie, back one. And on her sleeves, I think we'll do stripes. Okay, time for that broom. I think we'll go back to a gray on the broom. And we'll just go ahead and use the wet brush for this. It's going to carry over to the other side. So I like how it varies it some. Oh, I see what happened over here. I forgot to fill the bucket. So we got to get to this layer and we have to choose that dark red and fill these sleeves. There we go. So what have I missed on this dress? Oh, the collar didn't carry over either. Well, we can do that real quick. And the hair. See how quick I can do this. All right, we had a light gold on the top. We had the bucket. I'm on the right layer. Boom, boom. Then we had the dark gold on the bottom. Flipped, of course, when I say bottom. Then we had the gray hair. No, it's going to try and fill. I knew it. I hit the wrong spot. Let's give it a minute. Go back. No, it's doing it again. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, we're going to go back. And for anybody who's joined lately that hasn't been watching all the way through, I'm showing you, unfortunately, on my cracked iPad, and I hope that's not distracting for you, that you can, by adding a stylus and the program Adobe Fresco, you can paint on your iPad, and most everybody can do it. If they have an iPad and they add this stylus and that program to it, it's a subscription program, not too expensive. This, I'm demonstrating the symmetry function that was found over here. I moved my iPad in hopes that it will help people not be distracted by the cracks. Over here, there's several different symmetries that you can choose from, and we're using this one, which is a rotational. And I put an angled line on my paper so that the symmetry works the way often you'll see on playing cards where it's a diagonal line and the symmetry is based around that diagonal line. Okay, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more gold, and this time I think I'll just I will just use a wet brush, and I'm going to fill in the broom. Got a little spill over here. I really love watercolor in real life and in, well, this is real life, but in digital form and on paper. Go back to the green, make that a bit skinnier on the line so that I can do the stem. You'll notice my watercolor is going over the top of my black lines, and because this is a rough sketch, I'm not really worrying about that. But ultimately, I probably would separate all these layers and have my black lines on a completely different layer and be able to come back in and, you know, clean up just the black lines, put them all on the top of everything else. But I didn't, I kind of I've had everything sort of mixed together on these two layers over here. So because it's a rough sketch, I'm not worrying too much about my layers. So then the last thing that I'm going to do is paint in the skin tones and the stars. And So let's go with sort of a dark skin tone. Let's go over here and go somewhere in here. I'm on the vector layer now. I tapped. I'm going to use the bucket. And then I'm going to go back to the wet brush and do some lips. We'll give her some rosy cheeks. It's kind of a ridiculous rosy cheek, but that's okay. This is a kind of a fun card, playing card. Whoopsie. And back over here, I'm thinking green eyes. Oops, green eyes, dark green eyes. Wrong layer. Okay, and I think I know what's going to be missing is her skin tone down here. And just another way that you can, so I'm going to get the bucket and then I'm going to use the eyedropper. So for instance, if it wasn't showing up in my palette, I can go here and eyedropper that color. That's the exact skin tone that I chose before. And now we've got her hands and her face painted in. I did not do the dark green eyes though. The bucket, evidently you have to do top and bottom, you can't, but the other brushes work beautifully with the symmetry button. And then the stars, I'm thinking we're gonna go with some golds, bright yellow kind of stars. So that brings us to the end of the lesson that I was going to show you today on symmetry. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back in a couple nights, probably sometime this weekend maybe, and I'll show you something else new on the Adobe Fresco program. Thanks again for joining, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, let me read the comments before I go. The last question was, what do you know about? I'm not sure about that, about goth girls. I'm not, you stumped me on that one, but that's all right. Also, I just wanted to suggest that if you, this may not be coming across in the direction that I intended for the card, because things flip on the screen. And what I wanted to make sure that everybody knows is if you go over to my channel, you can find under the shorts videos, you can find several art videos. They're very short and fun to watch, and a lot of them are done, not all, some are done on paper with you know, paints and a real brush, and the rest of them are done on the Adobe program, the Fresco program. Oh, there's another thing I always forget until right about when I'm leaving. I'm going to show you one more cool thing that this program does. It actually recorded everything I did. And so if I go up here and I go to publish it, I can publish and export using a time-lapse export. I'm going to hit export, and it goes to my my pictures, my saved videos, And I'm going to show you in a second that it actually records everything I did. Oh, I was working on a flower ahead of time. Then I came in and was doing the live, and I showed you how I drew everything and started filling it all in. There it is. It's all there. Even all the mistakes where I accidentally painted the whole thing the wrong color. It records everything. Really super cool program. And that is actually how I make a lot of my, I'm going to go this way too. That is actually how I make a lot of my videos, is I use that recording that you just saw that this program does, and then I upload the video onto my phone where I have a really cool editing program, and I cut and paste and transition and zoom, and I do all sorts of animations with the film by cutting it up. And you can go over to my shorts and you can see that. There's one in particular, the thumbnail has a close-up of a girl's face, and I think the title of it is Goose Girl. It was a fairy tale, and the song is appropriately a fairy tale song. That's what was actually, can't remember the name of the song, but anyway, that one has a lot of the Adobe Illustrator film featured in it. So go over to my channel, click subscribe, go in, look at my shorts. I haven't done a whole lot of videos yet. I am going to be doing videos with this type of lessons, but go over to my shorts and you can see several different examples of how to make short art films using Adobe Fresco and an iPad with a stylus. Thanks, everybody.